Marama Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And yes, it's a day of apologies, and lots of people have been talking about who should apologise to who. Isn't that ironic in Parliament that we should talk about such things? I'll tell you who deserves an apology, and it's Andrew Judd, the Mayor of New Plymouth. Andrew Judd deserves an apology from his constituents there, from Mike Hosking, who surely is the one who is out of touch when a broadcaster uses his platform to belittle a man who stands up for minorities, a man who stands up for his moral obligation to Māori under the treaty and is treated despicably by the people in his community for doing it. Instead of congratulating him, instead of saying, well done you for sticking up for the minority, instead of saying, well done Andrew Judd for standing up for our commitment under the treaty to Māori in this country, he said, Andrew Judd, you are out of touch. Well, I tell you who's out of touch, and it's that broadcaster. That broadcaster and this party are out of touch when they don't support treaty rights, because this country was founded on a treaty of partnership. Now, anyone who thinks that you get into local government based on meritocracy is fooling themselves. Anyone who thinks that you make it through just because you're good enough are fooling yourselves. It is a popularity contest, and when the majority are the ones who are voting on that popularity contest, then the tyranny of the majority takes over. And here is what this man doesn't have to contend with. If he thinks that he is out of touch, I'll tell you who he's out of touch with. He is out of touch with the Māori in this country who, yes, hello, the Chinese people have been belittled through the actions of the party over here in the housing debate, but Māori have had to do that for 175 years. I say welcome to our world. Māori are not the marker by which all people are measured in this country. Imagine that. Imagine turning up to see, are you good enough as us? That's the marker. Do you live as long as us? That's the marker. Do you have to claim back your language, culture and identity? No, because it was never taken from you. That man is out of touch. He doesn't understand the racist bigotry that he has thrown out in this country. And the iwi versus Kiwi debate is not the thing that is uniting us, it is separating us. I'll tell you where that debate comes from. It comes from the stealth of the wealth, the entitled in this country, who can afford to take out full-page ads in the Herald newspaper claiming that there is some sort of undeserved privilege to a minority of people in this country who are the Indigenous race, who all other Indigenous races around the country look to as the example of how to achieve within a country, the example of how to have representation in a country. And yet still in this country we debate about whether representation on councils is just, whether we have distributed democracy in this country. Distributed democracy is what MMP is, and I call on all councils to follow the Masterton District Council and have iwi representatives on the board with voting rights. That doesn't take away, tell me, what does that take away from councils? What fear do they have by having somebody voice the opinions and the attitudes and the obligations of Indigenous peoples in this country? That is an irrational fear. It doesn't take away, it adds to. It is value add to this nation, it is value add to our communities, and Māori will no longer sit on the sidelines and be ignored after being consulted for what they think about. And we should applaud Andrew Judd, and we should feel shame that he has to stand down from his position because he has been abused and belittled for standing up for minority, for Māori, for Indigenous peoples.
Dr.